they're probably more accurate than the GIA, particularly if the GIA is calling, valuable pink diamonds lab grown or mined when De Beers is saying they're lab grown. It came out of the auction. It's a story the GIA had no comment, of course. And why hasn't someone picked up that story lately? We did. Welcome to episode 149. 149 episodes. Do you know what the elite group that puts us in? Of the global diamond broker, Hard Truth, and you're getting some hard truths today. Um, Diamond podcast. And, when I started doing this, when I came back to the business after retiring, um, I was here to straighten out some misinformation in the industry, misinformation that because of the money and prestige these organizations have in the industry, they push forward on their own personal agenda. And I'll give you some vivid examples. The De Beers Diamond Corporation, the legendary Diamond Corporation that started it all, and their ongoing disregard for environmental and ethical issues in the industry, and the GIA, and how those two are in bed together on everything. And if you look back through my social media, you'll see where I talk about them being in bed together. I talk about them, manipulating the marketplace. And it appears now, and this is the strongest manipulation I've seen so far, after the GIA just a few years ago goes out and decides what they're going to do is change now that the mine diamond industry has been decimated. By the way, let me say this before we get too far. I'm just a geek. I'm just a diamond geek, okay? Like, I sit at home and wake up in the mornings and my friends go, "How do you do it?" And I get up at 5 a.m. while everybody else is sleeping, and I read articles. I record things. Even my own daughter, and my daughter admitted yesterday, "Dad, you know so much about the diamond industry, and I'm going to make this offer to you as well. $5,000 US if you get information from me that isn't accurate." By the way, today I've chosen, because it's a special report we're doing today, to do this podcast by myself. We'll get back to seeing our clients. Get back to bringing experts on. But today, this is about you and you knowing what's going to go on. And so many of my clients, many of my professional friends, everybody's reaching out to me. Along with being the geek, I am the GOAT because I've held more positions, been through more, from the retail to the wholesale to representing top minds in the world, of anybody on the planet, any other person in my industry. So I know a lot about from whence I speak. And I gotta tell you that the reaction to the De Beers changing the lab grown certification is another act of who knows what's really going to happen. And there's so many examples of this. First of all, the jewelry industry itself, now not the miners, the jewelry industry itself is not going to be happy. There's a reason that lab-grown diamonds have grown. And number one, it's good for the consumer. It's the same product. If you hear the word synthetic, the GIA doesn't even call them synthetic, but these other corporations do. If your retailer does, please explain to them they're not synthetic. They're the same material, identical. So when we look at what the GIA is doing right now, they've done nothing. All they've done is make an announcement that they're going to change. And, I have some experience in the industry, and I always think back to when they were going to secure for the best interests of you, the consumer, by putting the diamond in a seal so that no one could touch it. The problem was the seals were so easily counterfeited. Whoever thought they could counterfeit the diamonds? Because that's what's going on now. So let me talk a little bit more, and please follow me along. I've received so much information, I didn't want to wait to get it out there, but let me take you back 1 month. Let me take you back to verification of lab grown diamonds versus uh, mine diamonds at the very highest level. So there's a big pink diamond ready to go on sale. This is a month ago, you guys, May 4th, ready to go on sale at, I believe it was Sotheby's was the auction house, who had no comment. And they had this big pink, very expensive, multi-million dollar pink diamond available for sale. GIA certified, perfect diamond, vivid. I can't remember the details now, because here's the problem. It was lab grown. Millions of dollars worth of diamond went to the GIA. They certifies it, they laser inscribed it, they verified it, but it was lab grown. You know how they found out it was lab grown? De Beers. De Beers steps in and looks at it, and because of their experience, this is a month ago, a month before this change. You guys, I am telling you, the biggest problem the industry is facing right now is they can't even tell the difference. We're going to talk about how you own diamonds so you know the difference. Imagine if the Gemological Institute of America on a multi-million dollar diamond doesn't know the difference a month ago. Or is it De Beers that doesn't know the difference? So when you hear the word synthetic, I recall hearing Johansson, I talk about this on our lives all the time, on a podcast with Martin Rappaport. I love Martin Rappaport. He's a zealot when it comes to mine diamonds because he represents the miners and the dealers and all these guys. There's 2 billion in mine diamonds sitting above ground right now, as a footnote to all of this. And there's also the fact that De Beers is for sale. They will do anything. They will say anything. You know, for generations, they have promised you that a mine diamond appreciates over time. It's a lie. There's no other word for this. Get me a list. I ask all the time. Oh, really? People come on and say, well, mine diamonds go up in value. No, they don't. They don't. They're at the lowest they've been in generations now. And I don't think anything that the GIA is going to do is going to change any of that. It's not going to change a thing. They can change their certificate. Listen, there's other companies, frankly, out there that aren't the GIA that are just waiting to pick up the slack, who may even offer better certificates than the GIA. Can you imagine? I'm happy to list them here. You know, IGI, who started certifying lab grown diamonds, the only reason De Beers really, or the GIA, pardon me, really got into it was because there was so much business. It was so lucrative. It has changed the face. You think the GIA not certifying the diamond like a mine diamond or similar, they're not alike, they never were, is going to change anything? How about this company? Google these guys. CCAL, GCCAL, Gem Certification and Assurance Lab. They're probably more accurate than the GIA, particularly if the GIA is calling, valuable pink diamonds lab grown or mined when De Beers is saying they're lab grown. It came out of the auction. It's a story the GIA had no comment, of course. And why hasn't someone picked up that story lately? We did, because we're here for you. So you know the facts. The biggest problem facing the industry is they can't tell the difference. They've been trying to push provenance down our throats forever. I want to know. I'm just like you. When the diamond arrives, how do I know they haven't been manipulated? Think of the movie. I've mentioned it many times. Please, for goodness sakes, go watch it. Nothing Lasts Forever. And in that movie, it's a incredible documentary. I think it's still on Netflix. Nothing Lasts Forever, which contradicts Hollywood, which I really like. How could they possibly be right? By the way, this poster, Soho, for those of you who are watching, I bought it probably 30 years ago for 25 bucks in a poster shop in Soho on one of my trips to New York. And it's worth about 4 grand today. Google it. It's an original. But I thought it was appropriate today to bring you to another section of my office, my desk, my private desk, where, we do the real work. This is where the real work's done. I always think people would love the view more, but this poster tells the story as far as I'm concerned. Whether they come out of a mine or out of a laboratory, diamonds are forever. Can they tell the difference? The article I read this morning by National Jeweler, which is a huge trade publication, is is talking about the fact, like I did yesterday. I posted something. Here they go again. I can remember the manipulation, and this is what you've got to watch, you guys, is being manipulated by the diamond industry. They've been doing it forever. Look, they can't tell the difference. So you're in a situation where out in the marketplace, and you hear these stories, but they downplay them. They're very wealthy, very rich organizations. If you want direct articles on this stuff, contact me. But I think you'll get the essence from the movie. And the reason nothing lasts forever in that movie, and it's the mine diamond industry that they're talking about, is the fact these things have been in the diamond pipeline for decades and no one could tell the difference. And by these things, I'm talking about laboratory created diamonds. De Beers, the legendary iconic diamond mine has broken more laws and rules as an organization, impacting environments, who the other day were talking about the fact how you're going to help Botswana by buying mine diamonds, and you're going to help them by financing. Diamonds finance their education and their medical. It's a rich country. Why do I want to finance Botswana's? Like, this is the bullshit that's being pushed out into the marketplace. And guys, it has to stop. You've got Tom Moses from the GIA, who's an incredible guy. I remember I was in Geneva where I first met Tom, and this is 2002. Brilliant guy, heading up the GIA and the announcements, and he's the face of the GIA these days. I had just acquired at a open Argyle pink diamond tender, which I was one of the first 5 authorized partners for the world. People say I'm pro lab grown diamond. I'm pro consumer having accurate information, is what I'm pro. As the diamond nerd or geek, which apparently I am, I study it. I'm addicted to it. I love it. And so Tom Moses and I met, and I had just acquired multi-million-dollar diamonds from Argyle. And they were two of them I got were the two most important in the show at the world famous Hotel de Belgay. And I met the guy, and super brilliant man. Well, he's representing the GIA, and he came out and said this, but he didn't really say anything. He said they're changing the grading system, and again, we have to wait months to see what happens. And maybe they've learned from other mistakes, because I'll tell you where the big pushback's going to be is from the retail jeweler. The lab-grown diamond industry has allowed them to make money again. The retail jewelry industry loves to make money. Um, and so these thoughts are kind of going through my mind. And you guys, I don't script. I come on here real. Okay. I'm based on everything I know about the industry and, my predictions. I think about when, I mentioned already, they started sealing diamonds. And then they stopped sealing diamonds because people were counterfeiting. And this is a decade and a half ago, they could counterfeit those certificates and laser inscribe them. Laser inscribing a diamond can be polished out in under a minute and cost today $5 to put a GIA cert on your inscription. Companies out of India are doing it every single day, and they're selling their diamonds like they're GIA. It's a terrible situation for a consumer to be in. Again, the very top of the level, they're arguing about a multi-million dollar pink. Al Cook over at De Beers, head guy, amazing De Beers employee. Al's got one agenda. He works for Anglo American, who owns De Beers, and they want to get the mine sold. And so here we go again. And sorry to relate things back to me, but I don't bullshit this stuff. In 1994, you can see I was invited by De Beers and the GIA. I'll bet they regret it now. I was invited by the De Beers and the GIA to attend a private seminar on an island off of North America where I was brought in as an expert, where they talked about the changing the grading system that they're touting now. It's just for the mine diamonds. It's this, it's that. They were changing it to make crappier diamonds. There's no other word for it. Well, there's probably other word for it. Lower quality diamonds. Sorry, I'm on a bit of a roll today, but crappier diamonds look better. Look better. And what they did was they changed SI to VS. SI diamonds, way back, when I got engaged, way back in the early 80s, they were 100% dye clean. You didn't have to worry about seeing inclusions in them. Today, over 80% you can see easily with the naked eye. And it's because they changed it. They upped the grade because they mine more SI. It's like the reason, that right now, and you guys hear me talk about this stuff all the time, is what are they going to do with the mine diamonds now that they're going back to it? Like, do you want? They talk about the fact that 95%, this is Tom Moses, I'm not directly quoting if I get something wrong, but this is what he said 95% of all the diamonds um, that they're seeing from lab grown are the most beautiful because they're DEF color and VS are better. Well, so if I'm going to go spend much more for a mine diamond on this new grading system, this new plan to help out the industry, the mine diamond industry, who, let's see what happens when De Beers finally gets sold. There's going to be an implosion. These mine diamonds are going to come into the marketplace. People are going to understand these lower grades aren't worth anything. And even in public, like, I was talking to one of our clients yesterday who's, we're pro-choice, and I'm working with him for a large white diamond. And jewelers tell him to save money by, getting a lower color, like G looks like D. Bullshit! It's simply not true through science or anything else. Going forward, the marketplace, the playground, the place you're going to have your diamond on is all going to be the most beautiful. And most beautiful, like Harry Winston knew way back when Harry, the greatest jeweler of all time, until now, Harry literally would not sell below F. My clients do not get below F. Sorry, we don't broker them. We think you're wasting your money. So how does this help? Well, number one, we will continue with our diamonds to provide you with a GIA equivalent of the grade of the stone. See, GCal is only too happy to provide a superior grade. And all these companies sitting out there, in Europe, it's not the GIA. Very popular is the Belgian High Diamond Council certificate. I had an office. I sat on the Bourse in Antwerp, Belgium for 15 years, which in those days was the center of the diamond universe and had been for 450 years. The GOAT. Nerd. And no one has these experiences. And the HRD, Google this stuff. Google CCAL. Google, or pardon me, GCAL. Google HRD, all these letters I have to remember, and see what they do. They're superior certificates. They must be teething at the bone to get at these GIA because you'll get the equivalents. So, anyway, I was on the island and we changed the grade. The GIA decided they needed to upgrade, so they met with the beers. They brought in experts. There were only a couple of us. I was one of them. And I objected. And I never got back. I never got invited back again. It was quite funny to me because I didn't believe they should change the grading system. And now they're touting it as a reason to for the lab grown. It all makes me pause. Anyway, a couple more notes before I got to get going. But please, if you have questions, you can Google the article on. Google or use your AI. I use AI a lot now for information to have a look at the story of the pink, IDEX, another important carrier of news in the industry. I don't think Rappaport's even carrying it. They're so biased, but it's there. You can read it. How could these two companies that are now telling you how to buy a diamond not even know the difference? And by the way, the technology, I can remember seeing lab grown diamonds 20 years ago. I've been doing this for 43 years. And being able to look at them under a loop or have my gemologist friend as they advance the science, because the science of lab grown is kind of new right now, but there's no difference. There's no testers. Like I said 2 years ago, when everybody said, oh, there's a tester, I said, there's no tester. There's no tester. Okay. Lo and behold, your GIA graduate gemologist cannot take a loop tweezer, a microscope, and tell you the difference. Hasn't been able to for ages. You could call it misrepresentation, but the industry allows so much subjectivity. Do you know even on GIA certificates, they can be off a grade or two? Read the fine print. Anyway, I'm the global diamond broker. I made a commitment to bring our clients backstage in the industry. I'm keeping that commitment more than ever. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. We go through great lengths to verify the provenance of our diamonds. We don't have middlemen dealing with our laboratories. We don't have middlemen dealing with our mines. We know where they come from. We're proud to offer the world's most beautiful diamonds at prices that defy comparison. And people don't know this, but I happen to be one of the leading experts in the world on natural, fancy, colored diamonds of provenance. So if you don't have provenance, you don't have anything. So pink, blue, argyle, very extensive collection. And one last thing for this week's podcast. Please, goodness sakes, if you've got questions, you challenge anything I have to say, please do it. Do it directly to me or put it public. I don't care. You won't win. I'll be right. And yeah, go to rarerock.com, you guys. It's not completed yet. We've got a landing page, but what is there is the opportunity for you to own an Argyle pink diamond. And you know how I know it's an Argyle pink diamond? Because you've got the Argyle certificate, you've got it, the measurements, you've got Argyle behind it, the certification. You can log on and verify, and we'll show you how. That's episode 149. Moving forward, our podcast is going to bring in experts from all over the world. Next week, we're expecting an expert on what real luxury is. If it wasn't for this special report to get everybody to calm down, then we would have done that this week. So, episode 150, what real quality is. And here's what I can promise you: real, old fashioned, top luxury quality in the industry is now at rarerock.com. And here's the difference: no more crazy markups. These are the world's most beautiful, whether they come out of a mine or out of a lab. And obviously, beauty's going to matter more than ever. And the world's rarest colored diamonds of provenance. Look, I appreciate your time, and God bless as always. I'm here, and please feel free to contact me. God bless.